Y'all ready for this? Yeah. This is the Lisa Baxter Show, giving you the 411 in the kidney world. Not my girl, and say, this is. After Thanksgiving and everything, and I got dialysis, so I'm waiting for them to call me in. So if I had too much to eat or drink, I could get some of that off. So I'm just glad about that. Oh, hi there, Timothy. How are you? Mm-hmm. What? I got COVID? No, I don't have COVID. Why would I have COVID? Maybe somebody in here might have had COVID. I mean, you putting me in isolation in a dialysis center? Why would you be doing that when I don't have COVID? I didn't have COVID. I didn't even what you mean? What? I had a test. You was told that I have COVID-19? No, maybe got it from somebody in here because I don't go anywhere. I'm in the house all the time. I'm in the house all day. I only go to dialysis and back, dialysis and back. So how could I could have contracted that, and then now you're gonna put me in isolation, put me away from everybody else? I'm feeling some kind of way about that. I understand about safety and stuff like that, but I'm just saying, where could I have gotten it from? I don't know. That's bugging me. That's bothering me. I'm going to call that advocate up. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Cause I don't like this. I'm feeling some kind of way, because this is the Lisa Baxter Show, giving you the 411 in the kidney world. Hi guys, how are you doing? Happy Sunday. And I hope your Thanksgiving was wonderful and fantabulous. I know mine was pretty good. I was inside and I did some cooking. I only was responsible for 2 dishes, was potato salad, and it was sweet potato pie. That's all. So let me show you a few things before I introduce my guest. This is, I love this thing because it's a squeegee thing to get your stress off and stuff like that. I remember getting these before at Fresenius. All right. So, you can work some of that stress out. And I love my awareness bracelet that I would keep and put on. And every time somebody saw it, it gave me a chance to spread kidney awareness to other people. So get your bracelet if you don't got it. I even had some made for the Lisa Baxter Show years ago, because I've had this show for 9 years. And let me see what else I got. Oh, I had to show you this. You know how your ears be bothering you when you be having your mask on. I don't know about you, but when I be having my mask and stuff on, the ears start bothering me. It makes my ears point out like this and it start rubbing. And Evan's been starting to get a rash on my face. Well, anyway, this goes in the back of the mask and it fits nicely in the back. So it'll be around your head instead of around the ear part. So you'd still get the safety of all of this. So isn't that something? I'm a ambassador with AAKP, and they gave me this. Isn't that cute? I just love it. Mm-hmm. How about you? Well, I'm always playing with you guys about the gloves because I collect all kind of gloves as long as it really protect me. So I got my white, I got my blue, I got my turquoise, and I got my green. That's right, green. All right. I had a crazy scare this week because I always do my medication for transplant on a Saturday so I can fix everything up and have it done. And usually if a pill bottle is empty, I turn it upside down to remind me. But when I put it on the dresser, I put something in front of it and didn't see it. So when it got closer, I had ran low and out of cell set. So, I called the pharmacy. He said he couldn't bring it. He'll bring it the next day. But I did have 1 dose. And then I had to call my doctor, my primary, who was also my nephrologist. And he said, Lisa, don't worry. You'll be all right. You haven't did this before. As smart as you can be and as hard as you can work, you can mess up or do something wrong. So I like to always come clean on the show and tell you guys the truth. Because when you see us, you might think we're perfect, but we aren't. And we might not do nothing wrong, but we do. and even with the best intentions. And I'm usually on point and on my game and everything like that. I apologize to you about the screen. I've been trying to fix that for weeks, and nothing I've done has fixed that yet. But don't you worry, we're getting better and better at this thing. Much love, much peace. All right, let me introduce my guest because I done jabbered, and jabbered some more. All right, man, I got the person of persons here for you tonight. That's right. I got Dawn Kirkowski, right? All right. She's a kidney warrior. She's a transplant mentor, a health therapist. She's a social worker. She's a clinical social worker. All right. She has a radio and a TV film. She's going to tell you more about that, but I'm just saying she has so many things going on. Some stuff that she took at the university, she used even for her transplant and her dialysis mission and stuff. You know, you got to incorporate this stuff sometimes. Man, she's married. She's a wife, okay? She's a warrior goddess, a warrior princess around. She's a woman with a mission, and I would like to introduce her to the show. Y'all saw her around on the other shows. She's family. Come on, Dawn. Woohoo! What? Do I got to say that again? Woo-hoo! Hey,
Hi,
Dawn. Welcome. How you
nice
doing?
to see ya. Good. How are you?
Nice to see you. I'm good. I'm alive and kicking. I mean, we've been chatting on the chats on the different shows and stuff like that, and then you and I've been talking on on the phone and everything. So it's just nice to have you on this show. Nice to know your story. I wanted somebody else to hear and know your story, and you're gonna tell that thing tonight about that.
Absolutely,
Yes.
Lisa.
Right?
Right.
Yes. So we're gonna get this ball sliding in and rolling. And I would like to ask you, okay, we're gonna talk about what is it that you do? What is your job title? What is it you do for a living?
Well, first of all, I am a mental health clinician, which basically means that I do assessments for people with mental health issues. Right now, during COVID, my work has been a little bit expanded into helping people deal with the stress of COVID-19, anything from financial to losses. I work for an agency for an urgent care mental health center. So it's a 30-day program for people in crisis, which helps people so they don't have to go to the hospital necessarily, and they can get their medications. They can get seen by either a nurse practitioner or a doctor. We can provide them with resources, which I do quite often, provide resources in the community, and basically do many things that are not necessarily in the social work title, from resources to finding people support groups to just about everything. I'm a licensed LCSW in New Jersey, and basically provide mental health services to people. Sometimes I have patients who have kidney disease, so I help them too. I use many of the things that happened to me to help my clients, whether it be resources for kidney disease or eye disease or anything I've experienced. I basically will give to my clients.
Wow. Now that's what I'm talking about. That is great. That is fantastic. So you're a clinical social worker
Yeah,
and you're a therapist. And I
right.
mean, those are dual jobs there. And you also battle, you have your own illness going on at the same time. Is your workload heavy or hard? Because I know being a social worker myself and, dealing with was on dialysis, transplant and everything, sometimes things got a little heavy.
Well, like social workers know, the paperwork is the heaviest part. Not literally anymore because everything's in the computer. So we don't have to pick up the heavy charts anymore. But still, back to back to back clients lately. It's just gotten busier during COVID and the crisis and all the financial and all the hardship out there and all the political stress. It's just been massively crazy where you feel like you can't breathe when you're in your office. So you have to remember to take care of yourself, being also a kidney patient.
Wow. Were you working from home?
No, but it was the closest thing to it. I was isolated in an office, um, where my employers felt that it was safe. One of the problems for me with going home to do work is I have conditions in my office set up for somebody who's blind and visually impaired, and it would have taken a while for the IT department to transfer all that to my home. So I sit there with the door locked all day or shut pretty much, except for lunch.
Wow.
And I just and it's hard because there's no windows, so sometimes it feels a little isolating. So I have to at least go say hi to the secretaries.
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. I was in one of the sites, my main site. I'm in my own office, and we were all spread it out into our own offices, so you can hear us yelling to each office to one another, or calling on the phone, or speaker or something like that. So I know a place now that I'm in an office by myself, but I'm close by somebody else's office, and clients
Mm-hmm.
do come in, and I have to put them further back. They come in with children, or it's like whole
Mm-hmm.
families that I service. So
Mm-hmm.
I do. So I'm proud of you. I'm glad that you're able to, things going, because sometimes with certain illnesses, we're at risk with a lot of things. I know one of the people that deal with our job with with how clean everything is. He said, Lisa, what are you doing here? You're at risk. You need to go and you need to maybe go work remotely back home and everything. And I was home a long time with everybody else that was home, but I'm just there to help another program out. But anyway, now talk. I would like you to tell us about your kidney journey. You have a very interesting kidney journey, so hit us up with that story, please.
Okay, this goes back to when I was in my 20s, and right now I'm 49. So I've had my transplant now. September 6th of this year was a 20-year transplant. But going back when I started with kidney disease, I was about 24, 25, and I was told I had 50% of kidney function left. So that was quite a shock. Basically, by the time I was 26. I was basically on dialysis. It was pretty hard for me to accept, though. I really had a difficulty accepting it because I was so young. That was the hardest part for me. I had a doctor say to me, "Well, you're going to need dialysis, and we need to list you for a transplant." And he said, "Which type of dialysis do you want?" I said, "Neither." So I ended up getting pretty sick to my stomach and trying a pill he gave me that ended up giving me something called torticollitis, which is kind of like Tourette syndrome, before I was willing to go on dialysis. So I basically ran back to him and said, "Hey, I just got too sick. Where's the dialysis?" Even though I didn't really want it. That kind of was what kind of brought me out of my denial. So I was on peritoneal dialysis for 2.5 years, is how I started dialysis. And I know a lot of people start with hemodialysis, they don't start with peritoneal, but I was very lucky because I had great providers who suggested it because I was working. So I pretty much worked almost the whole time was when I was on dialysis. I was very lucky. After I got peritonitis after 2.5 years, I did have to switch to hemo. I did in center. There was not really a lot of promotion at the time for home dialysis, and I lived in a tiny studio apartment by myself, so that was really not going to be an option. I was lucky that I got through doing PD by myself and lifting the boxes and doing all of that stuff and still working a job. So basically, when I was on hemo 8 months, I had a lot of trouble getting an access. So one of the things that happened, and I know Steve talks about larger veins and different things, but I have very tiny veins. So they tried to do an access in my arm with both a shunt and a graft. Neither one of them were going to work. So they left the catheter in, and I was very lucky because 8 months later, uh, I did get a transplant. Turned out that the kidney disease I had ran in the family with just one person. My mom was going to be a living donor, and basically she couldn't because she also found out that she had FSGS, focal segmental glomerulosclerosis. We're the only two lucky ones in the family there. I say that very sarcastically, but hey, we're both still here, so and we've met wonderful people through the journey, so I can't say it's all been bad. That's the gift I got after I got kidney disease, is meeting such fabulous people, including Lisa Baxter here, and a lot of other people, especially recently. So it has gifted me a little bit there. Um, Also, after that, my
Okay.
nephrologist has been a blessing in every single way because I've had her over 20 years as well. So,
Wow. Now, you were on peritoneal. What was
yes.
the plus and minuses of you being on peritoneal?
Okay, so peritoneal gave me the freedom to work, first of all, which is why a doctor even mentioned it to me. I was already working full time. I was commuting between, I guess it was a good hour and a half because I don't drive to go to my job, subways and trains. I really don't remember how on earth I did this while I was sick, even before I started dialysis, and I was sick to my stomach on the trains. And then basically, peritoneal gave me the freedom to work. I also had a boss there at this one job that actually set up a room so I can do PD using the IV pole, ambulatory peritoneal dialysis. So that ended up being great for quite a while. Then I had some problems with the tubing, of course, and I ended up doing the cycler. That had its advantages because you didn't have to do anything during the day, but that was great. But the disadvantage is that it's terrible to sleep with. You hardly get any sleep. I agree with people who say that the tube twist. I laid on the tube, the machine beeped. I was late for work because I had to get everything done in the morning. It was just absolutely crazy. The thing is, you have to do it yourself, and you just have to be so clean about it that it's like even if you are, you still risk peritonitis, and other little
Downright
things could
sterile.
go wrong. Huh? I'm sorry.
I said
Yeah.
you had to be downright sterile. I had two siblings that dealt with peritoneal, and
Oh
my
yeah.
brother Keith, he pulled this one night a mistake, and my sister D Simone, she loved it. Oh, that went on for a good minute. She taught all of us how to do it, especially her grandchildren. And
Wow.
she had a cat and a dog, and God knows we didn't want her to have the cat and dog, but she had it, and she got peritonitis as well, and she got it so bad that she had to get hemodialysis, but she had bad veins. Out of all of my siblings, she was the only one that, I mean, yeah, out of 7 of us that was on dialysis, she was the only one that had the bad veins, and they had to create one from her, taking a vein out of her leg, putting it in her arm and building it and stuff like that. So I saw the plus and minuses of it. That wasn't I didn't want it when it was offered to me to be home or go home. I'm a center
Hmm.
person. So that was your
Hmm.
plus and minuses when it came to having PD at home besides getting peritonitis. What
Yep.
was the plus and minuses of having hemo going in center?
I'd say mostly hemo was more of a minus than a plus in some ways. Basically because I was also working then, and I had to make sure I got out of the job a certain time. And I was working at somebody's administration assistant back then. It was a different job. Of course, however, the boss was really great, and he would say, "It's 3 o'clock. You got to go. You got to be at the center." He'd actually remind me to get out of the building and go. So he was pretty cool. Ended up becoming a friend, him and his wife. So that's pretty cool. Um, Basically, is I think the one thing that I'd say was an advantage for me was that there was the dietitian and the social worker were right there, even though they were busy. They were right there to ask questions. I didn't need to ask a whole lot of questions because I pretty much got educated myself, since I kind
Gone,
of had
girl.
to.
Yes.
I kind of had to.
Sometimes you
The,
fall into the corner and do it.
the other thing was support. I love talking to the other patients there. I love talking to the other dialysis people who would listen and encouraging them and vice versa. And they became friends. I mean, there was one guy there, this guy from that was of Puerto Rican descent, Papi Chulo. I remember him fondly. Unfortunately, he did pass of a heart attack. But but that's okay because you know what? It was a pleasure to know him in the time that I did. And he was like everybody's friend and papa. That's why they called him that. And then I made other friends, like one of the technicians there, Ricky. Okay, Ricky was cute. I'm going to say this, that Ricky was just so cute. He was a doll. I enjoyed it when he was my tech. But the best thing about Ricky is that he recognized because I was young that I was bored. And he used to bring me puzzles to do, like on paper, and little games and things that were out of a book because the TV was so boring. Back then, they only had like 13 channels of garbage on. There was no cable in the center. We didn't have iPhones. Okay, so you all that have your iPhone and your iPad when you go in the center, you're very lucky. So, I think that was about the best thing about in center. I mean, then occasionally my doctor would come in, and my kidney doctor, like I said, she's been there every step of the way to help me make decisions. In fact, she was the one that said, "Don't take her catheter out. Don't mess with her arm or her leg any further. I have a feeling she's going to get transplanted soon." So basically, I got lucky and blessed, and I did end up with a wonderful kidney donor, deceased donor, whom in my journey I actually know who she is now. And if perchance you're watching, I love you, Yvette Vargas, because your sister is my hero. That's what I got to say about that
Wow,
one.
wow. Now, hey, don't let me not let you when you say something to your donor. I'm gonna be quiet and let you say it. I want you to have the screen to yourself if you want to say anything special. I ain't mad at you. I don't know mine, and mine had passed away, but her son, I was able to write a letter to. So if you want to say something to your donor, I mean, I can shop these questions right now for a minute, and then you go. That's a beautiful. You know yours. Wow.
Well, I'll tell you the story how that happened. It was like I was blessed twice because when I went to social work school and I just started my second internship for my master's. I was working in a hospital. I guess they didn't realize where to deliver the letter to from the organ procurement organization. So they delivered a letter there, and this was 5 years post transplant that I got a response from all the letters that I sent her. I didn't intend necessarily to send letters to necessarily meet her, although I was hoping I could. But when I got transplanted, I sent her pictures and different things. Like I sent her pictures of my wedding. I sent her a copy of my graduation from my master's degree. I wanted her to see that her 19-year-old sister did not die in vain. So I sent her everything I could possibly send her to say, this is what Dawn Ceruto Kirkowski is doing with her life. And I know that your sister, can't, but she lives through me, and this is what I'm doing. And I give back by making a difference. And that was why I became a social worker, basically. So I got this letter while I was in social work school, and I was just like so glad. It was the first contact with her, saying who the sister of the donor was. And then she sent me some Christmas cards a few years later. Now we're on Facebook, and we contact each other via Facebook or Messenger or email, and we've exchanged some pictures. And it's just a whole nother blessing to know her for 15 years now. It's been that I know who she is, and a little by little about her family, and a little bit about my donor. I have pictures of my donor now, and I just think it's absolutely wonderful that they reached out to me.
Wow. But I know they usually keep that a secret
They
or,
did.
keep it under wraps. So how was you able to, investigate that and get that wonderful, under the cover information?
Okay, so I didn't really research it. The organ procurement agency lets you write letters, kind of with just your first name, and you put kidney transplant or whatever transplant you had, basically to the family. But then I wrote a letter saying, I would like to know who you are. I would love to meet you if it were possible. And I think it was because I wrote copious letters and sent copious pictures. I mean, I was sort of about once a month sending them something because it was just to me a mission to let them know, like I said, what I did with that kidney because the donor was 19 years old and she
Right.
died in a car crash. So this 19-year-old didn't get a chance to live past that. And I wanted them to know because I was only 29 when I got the transplant. So I was like, I just that was my mission really, is to let them know that yes, I would love to meet you, and I understand if you wouldn't want to meet me someday, but I just want to tell you what I'm doing with this kidney. But like I said, I was sort of an addict when I was sitting home, and about once a month I would send them something, and every time I had a major accomplishment, I would send them something because you know what? I think even if they don't ever answer you, they kind of need to know that. And a lot of people don't even write the first letter, the thank you letter, and that's okay because I know not everybody
When
can.
you
I
wooed them,
understand that. I what?
when you wooed them to get that, to getting her to
Yeah,
talk back to you, you said the right words. You know,
that was
the
it.
right kidney love letter or compassionate letter to get her to know, that this was worth giving. You know what I mean? This was the
Yeah,
gift, and I'm going to show you what I did with this gift. Girl, I ain't mad at you. You ain't never lied. Come on here. Come on here. I
okay.
just know that it was a young man that gave me his mother's kidney, who passed away of a heart attack, and she was 55 years old.
Oh,
So so I was grateful for that. And I think I must have wrote a poem, a song, a rap, and everything you could think of to them of thanks.
sometimes
If I'm not
is
mad at
meant to
you.
be, and sometimes it isn't. I also sent them up. I had sent them a poem called "My Donor Angel" when I didn't know who it was. That was my first letter, but then I'm a writer, so I wrote the things I wrote to them. I mean, I did the best I could. You'd think I was getting graded on an essay. It was that special to me. Um,
With a
basically,
donors
so
network, live on New York. I'm sorry. The Donors Network had a celebration, and I remember the first year that I was going to be a year with the transplant, and they had a ceremony where you can honor the people or
mhm,
honor donors, and all of us together in one place in a church
nice.
that they had in Manhattan that they were doing to go to that, and that was some experience. But when you were doing the dialysis, what, 2 years, you got the
About three
call.
years. Yeah,
What
three
was the
years. Yeah.
first thing that hit you? With three, I ain't mad at you. Okay, 3 years. All right,
Yeah.
three
Yeah.
years. You got the
Yeah.
call. What happened? What took place that day?
I answered the phone and they said, "There's a chance that you'll have this kidney." My reaction, excuse my French, was "Holy shit!" That's what I said to the coordinator because I was kind of shocked because I had a pager back then. Yeah,
Blown
good
away.
old pagers. We didn't have cell phones, so it was like, okay, that thing went off accidentally. That thing would fall, and it was so many false alarms. At this point, I was just like praying for the right God to give me the right kidney, and it was just like I was just shocked. And then when I talked to her, she said, "You're fourth in line for this kidney." Okay, fourth. I guess I'll take it. What's that mean? So,
I was
no, she was
fourth
like,
too. Woo! You go
"Oh
ahead.
wow, go number
Yes.
fours." So,
Yes.
yeah,
Woo! Yeah.
move number four. So yeah, one of them was pregnant. No, couldn't get the kidney. One of them was sick, and I forgot what happened to number three. But hey, number four was a charm. So basically, I had to call my family, called my father, called my employer. I'm not coming to work today. I'm not coming to dialysis. So the funny thing that happened was that my dialysis center, incidentally, didn't have enough blood work on hand to do the typing because it wasn't my dialysis day. So my my wonderful grandfather drove as I guess kind of fast as as he could and took whatever shortcut he could to pick me up. He was in his 80s or 70s back then. Anyway, drove me to the hospital and then we had to wait for the results to make sure that the tissue type matched because there wasn't really cross matching like they did like the stuff they do
Yeah,
now.
not like now.
Um, right.
Hmm.
So we had to wait for the results and go home and wait like 4 hours until they actually told me that the kidney was mine. Talk about stress. I was feeling it, so I just basically called everybody I could
Bite the
possibly
dust. Huh?
call to try to get my
Uh-huh.
mind going, and and off that worry. And basically, when I was waiting for my grandfather to take me up there, I said, "You got to hurry up! You got to hurry up!" And the first thing my mom says to me, who lived with my grandmother, said, "Wait, wait, Daddy's got to put his teeth in." I was like, "Oh, geez, okay, come on." So he drove me up, and then he drove me back, and then he drove me up again. And it was a family affair. So basically, I did end up obviously getting that kidney. The whole day was a blur, but when I got transplanted, but I will say what I remember is a couple of things. I remember when I woke up, my father kissing the top of my head and saying, "You did good," and then basically I passed out from the pain medicine. But you know what? That was important that I remember that, that one moment. And I know my family was there, my parents were there, and people that that loved me. So family support is so important, no matter what.
Oh,
I have to say that.
amen. Amen. You're telling the truth. You barking up the right tree. Listen, now say how long you had to transplant because nobody noticed, but you keep saying back then, back then. All right. Tell them how many years you've had this beautiful transplant.
September 6th was 20 years, so now it's over 20 years.
Woo! 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 That's all right. You rock.
So
That's
that's
all
something.
right. To God be total glory. Yes.
So yes,
Yes.
and
You're doing
I
something. You're
celebrated
doing
this year.
something good. You know.
Even with COVID, I celebrated very small. I got myself a cake shaped like a kidney with the veins and arteries, and said with the donor's name on my cake. It was the best cake I ever had.
Wow.
Local bakery made it for me. So it was
Woo.
just me, my husband, and my aunt.
I'd
And
like a piece of that. Hmm.
oh man, if you like chocolate, man, I can't really have it too often being
I love
diabetic.
it.
But you know what? For my 20th anniversary, I wanted a chocolate fudge cake shaped like a kidney with strawberries.
Wow. At least you got it shaped like a kidney. I would have had happy kidney versary, even though it was late and belated. But happy kidney versary, and that's a beautiful honor to have it that long. And now the pills you're taking before, how many was it opposed to the pills you're taking now?
Okay, so this is interesting for everybody waiting for a transplant or newly transplanted, because I was transplanted in 2000. So I was probably on 20 something, 30 pills. Not all of them are for your transplant. Some of them are for the side effects to
You
the
know.
anti rejection medications. Some of them are to prevent you from
Woo!
getting
Mhm.
yeah, getting other viruses and illnesses, because they give you so much anti-rejection
Mhm.
medication at the time that your immune system is lower, than it normally would be. uh, Now, while I am still considered having a lower immune system because of transplant meds, I probably take, well, of 3 transplant meds, as well as 4 pills for blood pressure, and a couple other things like stomach pills, cholesterol pills, and a good handful of vitamins for the most part. So the number of pills I actually take that are
Vitamins, yeah.
prescribed are a whole lot less. I've self-prescribed certain vitamins for other things, cholesterol, my macular degeneration, multivitamins, vitamin D, all the stuff where problems came up. I now prevent problems by taking some of
Vitamin
these
D.
supplements, vitamin C, all of that good stuff. But it's not like it was. I mean, you early on get your transplant meds lower, and now from what I've heard from friends on here, they don't give you as much as they used to. I was even on a trial drug that was somewhat experimental, called rapamycin, and I was lucky that I was able to keep taking it because it keeps my cyclosporin levels low. And cyclosporin, if too high, can be toxic. If not enough, can be toxic to your kidney. So it's a fine balance, these medications. And like Lisa said, nobody's perfect. If you say that you've never, ever, ever missed a pill of any kind, I'm not really sure about that because 20 years out, yeah, once in a blue moon, I've messed up, okay? I'm human. People look at you and go, 20 years. Wow, yeah, you look normal. You look great. You don't look like you've ever been sick. I wouldn't believe it. And then and that happens a lot, but I still have sicknesses and things that were effect from the transplant, not necessarily the transplant, but prednisone. Oh, my least favorite drug in the world, but it's great for keeping
Please.
the transplant. So yeah, there's the osteoporosis and the diabetes from it. But you know what? Here I am.
Yes.
I'm alive. I'm off
Yes.
dialysis. So what can I
Amen.
do?
You preaching to the choir. Yeah. Yeah. That's right. I mean, I had 19 pills in the morning, 16 at night. I have 4 in the morning now and 2 at night. But I did develop, osteoporosis, diabetes. I never had diabetes in my life.
Me too.
Bone joint disease and everything. I'm used to running track, and I'm still trying to run it. And then I had to graduate from a cane to a walker, and then now I'm trying to go backwards so I could get myself right again. I don't mind because I'm going regardless, and so are you and the kidney warriors out there. We just got to keep on fighting, keep on moving, keep on supporting one another.
Do what you can do.
What I love about you're a fire girl, huh?
I said, do what everybody should do what they can do, whether it's stand up, whether it's just move a little bit, even if it's a little chair yoga. If you can't do one thing, do another. It's better than laying down.
Yeah, that's so true. Stay active as you can. You know what I'm saying? Now, you're in some volunteer, you're also involved in some other stuff, and you got an award, right? How I can't get it right now. Now I've been saying this thing for 2 years now, and I'm now when I get on my show, I can barely get it right, but I like the owl. And I know you got him around there somewhere because even when you cook, I see him.
Well,
I thought
yeah,
I saw him eating one time. I'm just kidding.
you did.
But I'm glad you got
did.
that award.
So here's
I'm glad you got that honorary award. Tell us a little bit. Oh, there he is, the famous one.
Yeah, he's like
That's
getting ready
right.
for Christmas with his
The
hat.
book and everything.
Yeah. So
wow.
Hal. Yeah. Well, Hal is actually what he was and still is he's a recognition of from Hal's heroes. He's a couple of things. First of all, I don't know if she's watching, but my friend Brenda Cortez writes wonderful books about transplant and organ donation. Yay, Brenda, woot woot. And she's the creator of Hal the Owl and various books that people should really check out because they're about organ donation. And Brenda, of course, is a living donor of a kidney. So she's awesome to begin with. So she wrote these books starring Hal to teach adults and children for everybody. I mean, Hal has one. Hal gets a new heart. So he actually has a heart transplant, which is pretty cool. Where
wow.
as a
I ain't
character.
mad at him.
And there's one Hal gets a liver, so he's kind of all set. And Hal helps others with love. Anyway, she's got some great books, and Hal was an award because he was a recognition in Hal's heroes. It was something created by my friend Brenda and my friend Jean Syme. Jean Syme is a lovely person who lost her sister to COVID-19, and her sister was a nurse, and she lost her sister this year. And they created Hal's Heroes to recognize essential workers who worked during the COVID crisis. And because of my work in mental health, they gave me the Hal and the honorary membership to Hal's Heroes. There's a whole bunch of us out there, and they continue to do this, which is just really sweet. I even gave my nephrologist one because, hey, those doctors were keeping us alive, and I've known her so long. She said that was the best honor that she ever got. So, because it came from a patient, she said, "This is why I do what I do." So, yeah. So this is what Hal is. I mean, hey, he's not a golden trophy, but he's gold to me. Because important people gave it to me.
No, that's beautiful. Wow, wow. Well, you do so much. Okay, you also are married. and your husband also share and raising awareness. I love that. I had a husband that shared and awareness with me and
Important.
had my back and support. I love that about your husband.
Yes, we
Share
both
a
are
little bit of
volunteers.
that. I know
Well,
he's
we're
not a camera person, but representing you both.
but he's always commenting. And so we're both registered as volunteers with my organ procurement agency, the Sharing Network of New Jersey. So that's pretty awesome, so that we can do different volunteering together. And we can't wait to participate in the Transplant Games of America in New Jersey. This year they were canceled because of
Do.
COVID, but they are now postponed to next year. So we're going to be involved in
Yeah.
that. I'll participate, and of course, he'll be my supporter and possibly volunteer with whatever he is able to do. So we're pretty excited about that. I really hope it can happen next year. It'll be the first time I participate. I know other warriors out there who have participated a number of times and achieved medals. I'm just looking to go have a good time and meet other transplant warriors of all kind of different organs and their families. People who are recipients and people who are donors can participate in the games. That's just totally awesome, and they're doing it in my state. So this time for the first time ever. So I'm really thrilled.
I was glad to hear that myself, that they have brought it here. I was sharpening myself, getting ready and everything, do whatever I needed to had to do. And when they canceled it, I understood, even though I was disappointed. And it would have been my first because I go for a minute. You know what I mean? So I was glad this was it this time. And I was like, man. So I won't give up. So when they bring it, I'm definitely going to be there too. You're going to see
And I'll
me
see you.
running, jumping, or doing something. So
you just do what you can
yeah.
do and
So let
have
me
fun,
see now.
and that's it.
Because life is worth having fun. Whether you're on dialysis, got a transplant, or you just got a kidney disease, is worth living. I always say get tested, know your family history, and be educated about your illness. You know what I mean? So it takes teamwork to make dream work. Sharing is caring. So share this broadcast. Yeah, that. But anyway, is there anything we might have missed or didn't talk about? Because I know you also deal with your eyes, and you deal with diabetes, as you said, and everything. But you're just alive and kicking, my sister, alive and kicking. So is there anything? Because I'm about to end the show, I let it go on a little longer because there's no show after us.
Like, yes. So I want to mention a couple of things. One of them is an advice I have about taking pills, because I am the worst pill taker on the planet. Well, except for my grandmother, who's no longer with us. I wouldn't even take an aspirin growing up. Swallowing pills, I have this thing where they don't like to stay down. So I don't know whether it was anxiety or whether it was just my stomach deciding it didn't like to take pills. So the first thing after I was transplanted, the pills went down and they didn't stay there. I was really nervous and start crying and said to the nurse, "Well, if the pills don't stay down, how am I going to keep my transplant?" She goes, "Honey, you'll get used to it. They will eventually stay down." So my secret is this: applesauce, or yogurt drinks, or anything. Stuff doesn't really affect my diabetes because I just use enough to swallow the pills. So anything that you can use that is thicker than water, go for it and use it to take the pills if you're like me. I know there's a handful of people out there like me. I've heard it before. Because some of those pills you get, especially in the beginning, are huge. And the hospital will give you applesauce. At least. At the very least, that's what they have in there. They don't have the good stuff like pudding, but they will give you applesauce, and it's great for taking the pills. If they didn't, I would actually hide some. My husband would bring me some. But that's just a little tip off for taking pills there. I also want to
I
say
like
that
that. I like that you said that. No, wait a minute. I like that you said that because years ago in my 20s, I had problems with taking pills. I couldn't swallow them. They never stayed down, or they would get stuck here or choke me. So I used to have to crush them. And I mean, I tried some of everything to deal with the pills. I don't know when it happened, finally happened, and I was able to swallow it. But I mean, it took years. I had a phobia with it, but I had to take, I wasn't on any medication before I was on dialysis. So,
Yeah,
it
me
was
too.
pretty good. But, so I'm glad you put
So,
it out there. So I want them to know. But what was your
mhm.
other thing? If interrupt.
Uh, well, actually, I just want to mention something else about the pills. Something that people don't realize too, if you tilt your head back like this to take pills, they're more likely to get stuck. I was actually reading a good article and I found this works. Two things: take a really deep breath before you take the pill, and then put your head forward. It's strange, but the way that your body is set up, the pill will go down better than when you tilt your head backward. Everybody thinks taking a pill, you got to put your head backward. But for some reason, because of the airway, I don't understand with the anatomy, but I read something about this. It actually, as you take a deep breath and you swallow the pill, putting your head down, it actually works better. Strange little thing. But that's what I found. You can
Oh,
try it. The other thing,
some stuff you learn by habit.
yeah, I learned by doing. That was one I recently learned by doing, especially on those
I
big,
mean,
big
that throwing
pills.
back. I mean, I've done that myself. I might have done that earlier. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or to get it out of the little thing that we have to put it in, the transparent little tray thing. So
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's those are
And
good tips. I'm sure there's somebody out there that probably would do this type of thing. You know. Well, who
and
is it that you would give a shout out to, or anybody that you would like to either thank or address or say something about? Because I know you're a good woman. You're not just a good wife, but you're a good daughter, and you take care of your parents. And I've known your mother was on dialysis and what have you as well. You just a hero by yourself, honey. So is there anything that you like to say or miss or add, and give that shout out to that special person out there that had your back?
the top people having my back. First of all, my husband, Tom Kirkowski, of course, who's with me every day and helping me to stay safe from COVID by doing all the shopping and all that good stuff. And definitely my dad, if you're watching, because I know that if you're not watching it live, I can send it to you later, and I'm sure that you'll watch it like all the other broadcasts. Tony Ceruto, Daddy, I love you so much. And my Aunt Rose, if you're watching too, Rose Falchi. I'd give a shout out to my mom, but she's in a nursing home on dialysis. But I send prayers to her all the time, as well as to my aunt and my dad. So anyway, that's my top people, and prayers to keep my family, including my whole family, safe. Shout out to Gene Simon if you're watching. I love you, Jen Benson. You're awesome. Also, just want to shout out and say I'm also going to be an advocate for Transplant Journeys, Jen Benson's nonprofit organization. Also, be getting a person to be a mentor to, and I'm really happy about that because I think that'll be a great experience. So yeah, shout out to
Mm-hmm.
everybody. Patricia Stabler Yates, if you're on here. Anyway, lots of people because I've met wonderful friends here, and I want to say thank you, Urban Health,
Well,
too, because
we're a
I've met
family.
great people.
Wow. Well, we're a family, and we're our own community and a family that's growing, and people are knowing more about us when they didn't before. I always say we were under a rock, and we just got to get from under that rock. There was something else I wanted to ask you or say, but now I forgot what it was because I got all caught up into your conversation about what you were saying. But I do appreciate if there's somebody out there, they have a transplant, the transplant is trying to die out or something like that. Since you had yours 20 years, is there
Mhm.
anything you could say to encourage them or any tidbit that you did that kept it this long? Because we know about, God doing all of this, but anything that he to help this kidney to stay as long as it stays.
Yeah. Follow up with your doctors, take your medications as prescribed, and call your doctors if there's a problem. Even if you don't have an appointment, don't wait till your next appointment. Communicate with them. Also, if you have more than one condition, keep your doctors on the same page. The biggest thing is people don't do that. Is they don't keep their doctors on the same page if they got more than one, so they know what medications that you're on in case of an emergency. I think that's one of the biggest things. Always keep a list of your meds on you. If you got to go to the ER, it saved my life once because I was out of it from a side effect to something, and my husband took me to the ER. Thankful I had a list of meds, so my husband knew what they were, so he can tell the ER people. So you always want to keep a list of your meds so nobody messes up. You want to stay aware and ask questions if you go to the hospital so that they don't mess up, because not that they're gonna, but they're human, so they could. So, or have an advocate with you to help you. I realize during COVID that's hard to do right now, but under normal circumstances, that's what I did. So I think, these are things that
Wow.
could help you keep your transplant is, to do these things. Exercise if you can. If you can't move a little, keep active, find support, talk to people, keep your mind busy, keep your mind active. So important. Because then you won't sit around thinking about it. Now, do I think about it every
Mm-hmm.
time I do blood work? Absolutely. Do I worry every time I do blood work 20 years later? Absolutely. But you know what? It's okay. That's normal. I want to tell you that's normal to worry about your creatinine every month or 2 months or whenever you do that blood work. So it's okay. Hang in there. Call your doctor if there's problems or questions. Even if you're a little nervous, leave them a message or whatever. Just contact somebody professionals to find out. Don't always listen to everything you hear and see on the internet. And sometimes friends will tell you their experience, but it might not be yours, because everybody's body is different when it comes to their medication and experiences, even on dialysis. I think that's important.
Wow. Now that's powerful. That's points. Some really good golden nugget. Come on here, Dawn. What? That 20 years done kicked in, girl. I ain't mad at you. Listen, honey, I do appreciate you being on the show. I'm just sorry that you're in person, because I know you're a good cook and I'm just a teeny weeny bit hungry. All right. So I would have wanted a dish or something like that. I saw some pictures now. I saw some pictures. And I think the owl is eating a little bit too much. But I just want to say thank you. I thank your husband for letting you have this time and space. Some spouses are real tight and they don't, but yours is a given, and he's a beautiful person. So I
He is.
thank you again for being on. Keep up the great work. Keep doing what you're doing. And you know me, and you're going to stay in touch and tight. So you have an excellent, fantabulous night. And
You too, Lisa.
yeah,
My pleasure. My pleasure to meet you and be on here.
okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hmm.
Thank you.
See, guys, listen at what? Was that a great show or what? I just don't know what to say. There's so many warriors out there with powerful stories. They're not only just on my show, but they're on so many other shows on urban health. And now there's a lot of other people are doing more podcasts and more stuff. The more recognition, the better. This is no contest. We all one big family. I don't care what channel you on or what you're doing, but keep that awareness going. All right, because it takes teamwork to make the dream work, Archbishop Rock would always say. So God bless you. I love you. Next week, I'll have Christine Hernandez. All right, powerful warrior, a powerful warrior. And you better tune in to hear her story. I ain't mad at you. Good night. God bless. Mwah. Be for victory. Mm.
Y'all ready for this? Yeah. This is the Lisa Baxter Show, giving you the 411 and the kidney one.